The What It Takes Radio Company presents an adventure this weekend from the Transformation Zone. And today we're going to talk about Speak Life. That's right, Speak Life. And here's the story. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Stan. And on this Friday, the 15th of May, flowing into the weekend, we're going to be in one of our favorite places. We are in the Transformation Zone. We've done a lot of talking about transformation, and in a previous talk, I've talked about the different ways that perhaps we're trying to change things. From formation to reformation to revolution. And could it be that the changes we're seeking to make in our lives and business are truly ones of transformation? And how would we do that? How can we do that? How can we begin to bring more transformational thinking into our life, into our business, and into our relationships, and even into the world situation? Well, today I would like to make a little bit of an experiment by demonstrating a few things about the kind of things that you have to learn when you're going to be on the radio and television, which is one of the transformations that most people are going to have to get used to in business today. You're going to have to learn how to use, behind the microphone and in front of the camera. That's going to be a key element in the success that people have. Many years ago, Dale Carnegie said if you wanted to be a success in life and business, you had to learn how to do public speaking. And of course, that was a massive difference for most people, but then Toastmasters and a variety of things. And of course, many of your public schools and universities had classes in speech making, how to give a speech, because that was a significant part of learning to be an educated and successful person. Well, one of the things we are doing is we're trying to put together a book, a program, a whole way of thinking that would be an update of Dale Carnegie's very famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is still a bestseller today after some 80 years. And so what our team is trying to do is see, could we update that in such a way that it really works within the medium that we now have, which of course is the video and the television and the radio and all of the streaming media. But could we also update it in a certain way that it would not have the feel of something that is over 80 years old? But it's got to be important. It's got to be relevant. So we are putting together, here we go, 40 days to becoming someone people trust, remember, and follow. Would you like to be a person like that? 40 days to becoming someone that people will trust, remember, and follow. And maybe vote for, maybe hire, maybe buy from. Maybe those are the qualities that we're trying to bring into our own lives and business. Now, what I'm going to do is something I normally don't do. When you see me, I do not use a script. I basically know what I want to say, and whatever it comes out, it's very much from my heart, from my spirit, top of the head. But because I've been doing this for a number of years, it usually comes out pretty well. And of course, you can always do it over again if you need to or want to, and that happens from time to time. Now, what I'm going to do, however, is rather than putting this script on the teleprompter, which I could do, I think I'll just be a little bit more honest about it, because what I want to do is not just speak this. I want you to know that we have written this down, and I want you perhaps to hear it. Don't pay attention to me, but just hear it. So please give me the privilege of just reading it aloud to you, knowing that I will obviously have to have my reading glasses on, my kind of funky reading glasses, but I will be reading it to you. All right, here we go. Day 23 of 40. Speak life. You know, there are people whose words leave scars, and there are people whose words leave strength. And you already know the difference, don't you? You can feel it when someone walks into a room and begins to speak. Some people drain the atmosphere, others lift it. Some people make other people feel smaller. Others make people feel seen, capable, hopeful, and alive. This is about becoming the second kind of person. You see, in a noisy digital world filled with criticism, sarcasm, outrage, doom scrolling, anonymous attacks, and endless negativity, one of the rarest and most profound and powerful skills you can develop is the ability to speak life. Not freedom of speech, speak life. Not fake praise, not empty flattery, not motivational fluff, but real life. Words that heal, words that encourage, words that challenge people upward instead of pushing them downward. Words that remind people that they still matter. Now, here's a term that we've developed. Words create atmosphere. Every conversation creates an atmosphere. Think about that. Some homes actually feel heavy because of the words spoken there. Some businesses actually feel toxic because criticism is constant and appreciation is rare. Some organizations slowly die because nobody speaks vision, courage, or belief anymore. And then there are the rare places where people seem energized, creative, loyal, and alive. Usually the difference begins with language. People rise or shrink partly because of the words surrounding them. A leader who constantly says, "That'll never work. Nobody cares. You always mess things up. Okay, what's the point? We're doomed." Creates emotional gravity. That's quite a term. Emotional gravity pulls us down. But someone who says, "Let's find a way. You can do this. That was a good effort. There's still hope. We can improve on this. I believe in you." Words are not merely sounds. Words are emotional architecture. Think about that. Speak life in a cynical age. Modern culture often rewards cynicism because cynicism sounds intelligent. People act as if being sarcastic makes them wise, as if mockery proves a sophistication, and if tearing things down demonstrates power. But cynical people rarely build great relationships. Anyone can criticize, anyone can bitch and complain, anyone can predict disaster. But people who speak life become memorable because they are increasingly rare. They become trusted because others feel stronger after being around them. And that is one of the great secrets of influence. People are drawn toward people who help them breathe better emotionally. Breathe better emotionally. There's a hidden power, what I would say in many cases is kind of a superpower of encouragement. Never underestimate encouragement. A single sentence can redirect a human life. You may remember a teacher who believed in you, a coach who challenged you, a parent who encouraged you, a pastor who inspired you, a friend who stood beside you when you were ready to quit. You probably remember their words even decades later. Why? Because life-giving words have staying power. Some people are alive today because someone spoke hope to them at the very right moment. That is not an exaggeration, my friends. That is a reality. People have done that. I think of one case where I actually probably intervened in the midst of a suicide. Yeah. Speak life, especially when it is hard. The true test comes when pressure arrives. Anybody can speak positively when life is easy. But trusted people learn how to bring steadiness into storms. That does not mean denying reality. It means refusing to become a distributor of despair. It means speaking truth with courage and grace. It means becoming the person who says, we'll get through this. Let's take the next step. There's still possibility here. Don't quit yet. You know what? You're more capable than you think. Sometimes speaking life means offering comfort. Sometimes it means offering a challenge. Sometimes the most life-giving words are, get back up. Now, digital communication, what we're doing right here, needs more humanity. The digital world has created massive communication, but often reduced human connection. People text instead of talk. People react instead of listen. They attack instead of understand. Too many conversations now happen without tone, warmth, compassion, or humanity. Which means your words matter even more. An encouraging email matters. A thoughtful text matters. A sincere compliment matters. A phone call matters. A podcast matters. A conversation matters. Human beings are starving for genuine encouragement. And those who speak life consistently will become magnets for trust and influence. Now, a lot of this is based on, as we said, Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie was right. Dale Carnegie understood something timeless. People ache to feel important. But today we would add something else. People also ache to feel hopeful. Your words can become emotional fuel. You may never know fully the impact you have on others when you speak courage, gratitude, possibility, vision, and belief into their lives. That's right, but make no mistake. Your words are shaping the emotional climate around you every single day. So choose them wisely and choose them generously. Okay, here we go. Stan Hustad always says, here are some things to remember, not the takeaway stuff. Things to remember. And I wrote these down. Okay. Words create emotional environments. Encouragement is not weakness, it is leadership. Cynicism may sound smart, but it's hope that changes lives. People remember how your words made them feel. Speaking life is one of the great relationship superpowers. May I say that again? Speaking life is one of the great relationship superpowers. Okay, some things you could share with others. Encourage someone specifically today. Speak possibility instead of defeat. Replace sarcasm with sincerity. Use your voice to strengthen people. Become known as someone who brings hope into the room. Well, here's some things to possibly take a careful note of, maybe even to act upon. Observe your daily language patterns. Notice whether your words lift or drain others. Reduce unnecessary criticism and negativity. Send one meaningful message of encouragement today. Make your conversations more human and less transactional. Final challenge. For the next 24 hours, become intentionally life-giving. Speak life. Speak encouragement. Speak gratitude. Speak possibility. Speak courage. Watch what happens to the people around you and watch what happens to you. Because people who speak life often become people others trust, others remember, and follow. And in a weary world, that is a rare gift indeed. Speak life. That's what we do if we want to live in the transformation zone. And so I would encourage you to think about that. Again, reach out to me. That I said, maybe you'd like to participate. That's part of the project. We're going to create a whole new program, books on how to do the things that will help us become people who others trust, who follow, who vote for, hire, someone that can actually be the difference and be the change maker and be the source of hope in the world. Let's think about that. Thank you for being a part of this show today, and thank you for giving me permission just to read it to you. It's something we have put together with the help of others, but it's just one of about 40 different lessons that we're going to do for the transformation zone, in which we try and teach people how to be a person of transformation, a pot, a person of transformation. How one can lead, guide, and help others to reach their goals and their aspirations and the good things they want in life, so that they can have transformational moments, maybe memories, and even transformational movements in their whole life. It's all part of living in the transformation zone. Till next time, I'm Stan, wishing you a great weekend, and do some rest, get some relaxation, do some recreation, do some worship, do something that will encourage you as well as encourage others. Take care. Till next time. Bye for now.